All right, kids, it's Beantown Fantasy Football. This is week 13. This is the quarterback edition. With me to my right is BG. To my left is Mark Fury. The APB for the van that Mr. Ace Wonder was seeing is out. We're hoping, it's caught in the dragnet. We still haven't heard from him, but our thoughts are with him, especially since he owes me $10.
Cheap bastard.
All right.
Blood trails, semen all over the sidewalk, handcuffs are blocked down the street, Skittles everywhere. Poor kid.
Skittles, he couldn't even get real candy? What the f***?
Oh, your hands are tied behind
That is
your back.
disrespect at the worst. All right, well, this is the quarterback edition, and I'm going to start things off by saying start Matt Moore against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers have allowed 24 scores this season altogether. They haven't been able to stop anything, whether it be on the ground or in the air. Carolina is hungry for a change. You've still got Steve Smith. You've still got, other receivers on Carolina, but Steve Smith is obviously the guy that's been shut down the most because of Jake Delhomme. I think a change in quarterback might be just what's needed. And you know what? You're going against the Buccaneers. What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, they're horrible. They're horrible.
Yeah, I like that. They're young. They're gonna get better. I like what Morris is doing down there. But like you said, they're not ready yet. And if there is any game to start a young quarterback, then start him against Tampa. I mean, I don't even know if Matt Moore's a lefty already. I've never even heard of him.
He's not going to score you big points. This is one of those guys, you want to take a crapshoot, you got nothing to lose, you're even in the league, you want to try somebody, you haven't had luck with somebody in the past, give it a try. I find sometimes, especially in a quarterback's first game, he's excited, he finds the targets, he's focused, might not start him next week, but, week one, give the kid a try.
He's worth a shot if it's a two-quarterback league. I mean,
yeah, sure.
He's got some weapons. He's got a great running game. He might be able to steal you a couple of touchdowns down in the red zone off of a play action. I mean, he hasn't played in the NFL in 2 years. He's been with Carolina the whole way, but he just hasn't gone into a game. They got to see something, or else they wouldn't keep the guy around. So there's something there. It's the right team to play against, like BG and Jaker said. The Buccaneers aren't any good. There's a little bit of talent on that team. I really like Piscatelli. I think he's going to be a heck of a player.
He's a great safety.
But I mean, they're still not that old Tampa defense. They're getting better every week, but they can still be lit up.
Rondé Barber can still play. Talib's nasty.
They can still be beat though. Talib, he plays well, but he does make mistakes. And you get into the middle of that defense, and they're just not that strong. I can see Matt Moore maybe putting up some points, but it's also a risky pick because nobody really knows what this guy can do outside of the Carolina coaching staff. So if you're in a desperate situation, you can definitely do worse. I mean, I take him over Brady Quinn, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, another guy that's going to be in my starting lineup this weekend is Vince Young, and I took some heat, boy, 3 weeks ago. I'll take Ray. He had a horrible week that week. I said start Vince Young. He wasn't that impressive as opposed to my sit recommendation. But you know what? In the long term, since taking over the sinking Titanics of Tennessee, they have resurfaced in a way that we hadn't imagined. This week he faces Indianapolis. They've given up 239 yards a game to receivers. They've been stingy in the end zone, only allowing 9 passing touchdowns, but I think Young should be good for about 250 yards and a couple of scores. He's always a threat to run one in as well. He's clicking with his wide receivers, and I like what I see. So go ahead and start Vince Young with confidence this time going into week 13. Now, a guy who's not going to be in my lineup this week, and it bothers me because a lot of us have wide receivers that are dependent on this guy. That's Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers going against Oakland and Nnamdi Asomugha. I'm concerned about the injury and the long-term effects of the concussion, or at least through this week. He might be rushing to it. This guy's been banged around in the past. This is the first time this guy's head's gotten rattled. So, what I've seen, at least in projected stats and other things for Pittsburgh receivers, doesn't look that great. Could be better on the running game. Going to go ahead and sit Big Ben of the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 13.
I like that sit. I mean, it's tough to find a quarterback to sit this week, but Ben's probably
Start Matt Moore.
the best one that you can sit.
Here's a great case in point right there.
Matty Moore over Ben Roethlisberger this week, folks. What do you think? I think think.
More.
Well, I gotta disagree firmly with the Jaker on this one. The one guy who I thought is an easy sit is Vince Young. He's winning games, but you don't get fantasy points for a quarterback on a winning team.
I saw the harbor lights.
According to the way he's played the last month or so.
He had 300 yards and a score last week, and he's only gotten better, and his chemistry with his wide receivers has only gotten better.
I like he is getting better as a pocket quarterback, but even still, if he's gonna, like, especially against Indy, there's gonna be a lot of running going on. I mean, if he's gonna score, it's probably gonna be with his legs, and you don't want that out of a fantasy quarterback. You want to see the 300-yard game again, few touchdowns. I just don't see it happening against Indy.
This is Chris Johnson's team. This team goes as Chris Johnson goes. Vince Young's just along for the ride. He's just gonna jump on Chris Johnson's back and see how.
They told me we were parting. The same old harbor lights that once brought you to me. I watched the harbor.
The bottom line is it really made the fantasy game look better than it was. Vince Young played a great game for real football, and it ended up being a great fantasy football game, but I don't expect him to do that again. This is a running team, and they just rely on Vince to not lose the game. He doesn't really need to go out there and light it up, and he's not going to have the opportunity to
If
do
you're
that.
if you're in a 2-quarterback league, there is absolutely nothing wrong with starting Vince Young. I mean, we're getting into week 13 now. There you have people on the bench that normally you wouldn't be starting, such as Roethlisberger. All I'm saying with Young is that he has looked sharp, and
Yeah,
I think
great.
you're the same one 3 weeks ago that said he wasn't even going to be where he is today. So I mean,
Well, honestly, I mean, I
He's
haven't
finally
been,
proved me wrong.
I
It's the
haven't
best.
been all that impressed with him. He's going in and he's not losing, and he's getting all this credit for winning these games. He's been adequate. He was much better than adequate last week, of course, but
How could I help if tears were starting?
like that in high school, he didn't throw like that in Pop Warner. He's been a running quarterback. You get him in the pocket and you'll beat him.
have you seen video of him in Pop Warner?
Probably not.
Okay, just one.
He's
What
They
about
don't-
you?
Oh, no, Young is getting better though. I
Nobody
mean,
throws it pop
he's so
wide.
dangerous with his legs, and he's starting to learn how to read coverage, especially when he can read the zones and then pick them apart in the middle. He's starting to become more of a pocket passer, which is good. And that's what he needs to do if he wants to succeed in the NFL. You can't rely on your athletic ability forever. And it looks like he's starting to come along, but I don't think he's gonna throw for more than 300 yards in a game the rest of this year. Maybe one other game, but I don't think it's gonna happen
He's-
against Indy.
he's the type of guy with their scheme. I don't know if he's going to throw for over 200 this week. He's been under 200. He's been under 150 twice in 5 starts. I mean,
Well, it definitely
and
bears
like I
watching.
said, he's been playing well. He's been playing great real football, but it's not about real football. It's about fantasy football.